This is the July 13th meeting of the Berlin Zoning Board of Appeals. We caution attendees and petitioners that their name, telephone number, and image may be recorded. Okay, enough said. It's 7 o'clock, so we can go directly to our continuation of our hearing for what are we calling it, Hudson Street?
At 10 Bigelow Road in Hudson and Berlin.
Okay, so the petitioner is here.
Yes.
Hello, Madam Chair.
Hi,
Hi.
Wayne.
My name is Wayne Bellick, Land Design Collaborative. I'm here on behalf of Kane Industrial Trust, who would be represented by Kathy Adams tonight, but she's unavailable to attend. So first of all, I wanted to thank you, Madam Chair, and the board for continuing the hearing process here for us. When we filed, from one community to another, as you know, the filing processes are a little different. And this is my first time in Berlin. So I apologize for any confusion that may have been caused initially. But again, wanted to thank you folks for continuing this process for us. So as we understand, the discussion on the variance petition would be held when you folks receive the site plan application, site plan special permit application, and all the associated documents. So again, do appreciate your patience with us. So here we are before I respectfully request a continuation to this public hearing. We have, we're well into the design of the plans. We're in the check print mode. We're into the stormwater analysis. I've pulled together the impact analysis for the town as required by the zoning bylaw. And I presented, I've written the cover letter, and we're pretty much there. We are, I would say, within a week or so of being able to provide a full filing for the board. So again, I wanted to offer that to you, Madam Chair, and the board, so that you kind of knew where we are before, as I said, before we respectfully request a continuance.
I sent you a link to the filing deadlines. Did you take a look at what the filing deadline is for next month?
I have yet to do that. I've been scrambling, Madam Chair, on this thing to pull it together, but I will. I most certainly will.
It's tonight.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. That's correct. That's correct. I did see that. My bad. Yes. So the filing deadline will not happen for next month because, like I said, we're about a week away from filing. I'm sorry. Yep, that's correct.
Okay. So your intent is, see, one of the things that happens is we afford you an hour knowing that it's possible we could go over.
Yeah.
And when we turn around and continue these hearings and the hour is only 15 minutes, it kind of delays our process. We have 2 other hearings this evening.
Understood.
So you have no question in your mind that you are going to file both petitions by the deadline for September. Is that correct?
That's correct, Madam Chair.
Okay, and our September meeting would be,
The 14th, and the filing deadline would be August 17th.
okay. Are you all set with that, Wayne?
Yes, absolutely, Madam Chair. We'll certainly make that.
Okay, there are other things that need to happen that you
Okay.
could perhaps do in the meantime.
I'm all ears.
If you have read through the bylaw,
Mhm.
such as getting a letter from conservation. I understand when you first met with them, their only concern was that you were putting the sewer across the wetland, the
Correct.
sewer pipe.
Yep.
And, you know, you may want to just double check with them. You can go and meet with them with your plan if you want to get yet another letter.
Mhm.
Board of Health is someone else that you could meet with. This helps prevent you from delaying the process after we start your hearing.
I do appreciate that. I appreciate that. And again, I served my community for about close to 30 years now, so I can appreciate your time. With respect to the Conservation Commission, Madam Chair, we do have an order of conditions for that work. To do the sewer work, we constructed the access drive to get out to the back for the public water supply. And as part of that, we filed to include a sleeve under the wetlands, which I believe has been installed at this
My
point.
only suggestion is
Yeah.
that when the plan is finalized, which it will be by the 17th, obviously of next month, if you plan to file next month, that you make an appointment after that date and before our meeting, so that you can get yet another letter saying that the plan that you presented to them is acceptable to them.
Okay.
And then we will not have to go and end up continuing things for stuff like that.
Agreed. And at that point, we will have also filed with the Conservation Commission a notice of intent for.
And what, and Board of Health.
Correct. Yep.
Okay, so is it your request of the board that, at your request, do you want to continue your hearing until September, what did you say, 14th?
14th.
We do, Madam Chair. Thank you.
Would someone care to make that motion, including a 7 PM time?
So moved.
Is there a second, please?
I second it.
Okay, I'll take a roll call vote. Jim,
Aye.
Keith,
Aye.
Susanna,
Aye.
Ginny,
Nay.
Pat,
Aye.
okay. And I'm an aye, so you have the vote. We'll see you in September. While we appreciate the complexity of what you're doing, I want to say that, you know, patience may have run out in September if all of the qualifications and requests in the bylaw aren't met by then.
Understood.
Okay, Mr. Bellick, thank you.
Much appreciated, folks, and sorry for any inconvenience caused. Thank you.
Okay, so we've continued the hearing. We have, why don't we do, if, without objection, other things on our agenda such as minutes? Do I have a motion on the minutes for June? Gee, you're a lively group.
I know. I move to accept the minutes as they are for June.
Is there a second?
Seconded.
Okay. Moved and seconded. Any discussion, update, inclusion, whatever?
No, I just thought that as an alternate, I wasn't allowed to make a motion. So that's why I don't make motions.
Oh, so are you saying my motion was not?
Anyone can make the motion, and I prefer that everyone vote. The folks will be recorded as positive votes in the order in which they exist on the board. The primaries first and the alternates second. So I'll go again. Jim, you're an aye. Keith,
Aye.
Susanna,
Aye.
Ginny,
Aye.
Pat,
Aye.
Denny, where'd you go?
We lost him.
Dropped off.
It's fun for the night.
Is he trying to get in again or anything?
Not at the
Right.
moment.
Okay, I'm gonna take that, a 4-0 vote, if you will, Leanne, okay?
Yep.
We also have warrants which would deal with Jenny. Any communications that we
Oh.
have? Oh, there's Denny. You're an aye also, are you, Jenny, for, the minutes?
He's muted. Actually, he's frozen too.
Jenny, you can probably hear us. You're muted and you're frozen. Would you try to unmute yourself and maybe take down your video? Don't do video and improve your internet access. Okay, for the time being, we'll skip over warrants. I doubt that there are any, but it's possible. Does anybody have any communications they'd like to share?
Well, you know that Jim and I went to the planning board meeting on, what day was that? June.
June
something.
28th. June 28th.
June 28th, yeah. And there was discussion about 256 Central Street, but not much happened. There was a long discussion about the mall parking and the temporary special permit. And it looks like they were going to do some more decibel testing at the abutters properties. And then they talked about the housing survey, and then they moved on to 139 Coolidge Street informal review, which is the Gulf Station Dunkin' Donuts over by the Old Central Street. And it looks like that may be coming our way for, I think, 4 variances that they're looking for, if it does come that way. And then after that, it went to the school sign, which they discussed. And I'd rather have Jim talk about that one if he wants to, because he was more involved in it than I was.
I think there was just a lot of general discussion as far as lighting of the sign, and I think we'll hear more about this later on, but there was some discussion about putting a solar light of some sort on it instead of having it hardwired into the utility system, things along that line. So there was quite a bit of discussion. It was,
Yeah, probably more appropriate for our next hearing.
Yeah.
But, yeah, did you all get the letter from the selectmen? Their minutes and stuff about the sign?
yes.
Yes.
Okay. Denny's still not back. We need to do availability and warrants. I think that's all that we have there. For other stuff, I had an update on the planning board meeting, but I think we can save a couple of those. Save a couple of those segments for when we go into the hearing. Did anyone attend the CPTC exceptions presentation? I tried to, but I tried to register the day before and it was closed. They did a thing on exceptions for agriculture, education, childcare, religious, state and federal land. So I think it would have been interesting. I went out and looked to see if there were any, like a recording. Sometimes they record them, sometimes they have the PowerPoints out there, but they didn't. And it looks like they're on vacation for the summer, so I'm sure Leanne will keep us posted. The database. Do Jenny and Pat want me to resubmit that? I haven't as yet, but it's a new year and I have to resubmit it.
Yes, I do.
And Pat, you too? Okay. In trying to do some research and Leanne trying to do some research, I came up with some columns that need to be on our database that you're working on. I know Jim would like us to put all of the criteria on there. What we're looking to do is to just be able to identify and find these permits or submissions, and then go to either the town clerk or to Leanne's file and get a copy of the decision. I don't think we can get into putting all of the all that's in the decision on a spreadsheet. I don't know if it would be productive. And I don't know if it would be productive to go back. We have some that we have, I know you're going to have to do 2019 forward at least, but looking for the 139 Central Street, Coolidge Street, and Old Central Street are mixed up by everybody. I went out to the Registry of Deeds to see what I could find, and I did find a 139 Central Street, which happened to be the gas station. But that was all that was there. So I don't know if it's listed as Old Central Street or whatever, but that place is a mess. I think we should put down book and page when we know it, and we should, because I believe it's on the assessor's submission when they give the folks the abutters. The street number, the town clerk number. I noticed in the database that I've shared with Jenny and Pat that there's no petition type on there. It will say site plan, it will say special permit, but it doesn't say what the use is for, like an in-law. Okay, so maybe we need a separate column for that. Maybe the nature of the petition, the petitioner, the owner, and again, an expiration column. Just my thoughts, okay? What else was there? Oh, remote meetings. I think I heard Leanne talking about it. Actually, this Friday is the last time we are authorized to hold municipal meetings remotely, okay? They will have to be in person. There is a law, or it isn't a law, it's a bill in the legislature to, from what I understand, extend that until December 31st of 2023. There is also an amendment to the budget that the governor has yet to sign that would extend it to December of 2022. So if need be, I think we'll make some assumptions about the continuation of the hearings. Hopefully by our next hearing, there will be something that comes down and allows us to do it remotely, because you folks want to do it remotely, right?
Yeah.
I think it's a lot easier to do it remotely.
And just,
Can I interrupt? I'm having a lot of trouble here. I'm going in and out of this meeting.
try shutting off your video. I know when I'm at home, okay? See if that helps, Denny. Are you still with us?
I can still hear you.
Yeah, and we can hear you, so I think we can live with that.
Okay,
The other thing, oh, could you check, Leanne, for, the documents that we have on our website that we send, folks to? I think, for example, the bylaw is outdated. They haven't, published a new one, but there is a new one on the website. I don't think the whole cannabis situation is in there. So, if you could look at the bylaw, I'm trying to think, there's something else out there too that I didn't even bother with, but I just wondered if, you could just check and see that we're up to date.
Okay.
Okay, let's go back now that Denny is here and can hear us. Do you have any warrants, Denny?
no, we're clear. I just signed, I believe it was the April bill schedule, the balance sheets.
Okay, great. And you don't have any communications for us, right?
No, we're good to go.
Okay, what about availability of the folks that are here for our meeting in August? Now,
I will
remember,
not be here.
okay. In some ways, that's fortunate that it's that month, Jim. Do you know what I mean?
What's
Yep.
the date?
August 10th.
Okay, thank you, Leanne.
You're welcome.
So is there anyone else that will be unable to attend?
Is this
in
in
August?
person? Are we gonna meet at the town hall or still on Zoom?
Well, we're going to, as soon as we know whether or not we can, it'll be Zoom, otherwise it'll be in the town hall.
Okay,
We need an act of the legislature, quite literally, to do that. Okay, so no one else, everyone else, so I'm assuming that Denny, you're available, Keith, you're available, Susanna, you're available, Ginny, you're available, and Pat, you're available. Is that true? Now,
So-
Jenny, you were here for the 7 o'clock meeting,
yes.
right? Okay, so, you know that we're continuing it. Does anyone have anything else that they'd like to discuss or talk about? Okay, it's 25 minutes past 7. We've done everything that we can do. Would anyone like to take a recess for half an hour and come back at 5 minutes of 8?
Yes.
Okay, so, we're gonna take a 30-minute recess, Leanne.
Mm-hmm.
So you could, stop recording for 30 minutes.
Well, do you need to vote that, make a motion and vote?
Oh, you keep me honest. Okay, I'll accept a motion to, take a 30-minute recess.
So moved.
Is there a second, please?
Second.
Sue, was
Okay.
that you?
Yeah, it was. Now that I know that I can.
Okay, Sue and Pat. Okay,
All right. I'm going around for a roll call vote. Jim,
Aye.
Susanna,
I,
Ginny,
I,
Keith,
Yep.
Pat,
Aye.
Denny. Denny. Okay, we have enough votes.
all
So
right,
we'll-
I'll pause the recording.
Okay.
I will continue to watch for the petitioner, but right now the petitioner for the next hearing is not in attendance. We only have Louise Janda from the Conservation Commission in attendance and has been this whole time.
yep. She's a trooper.
Louise, did you have anything you wanted to address with the board?
She put her hand up. Do you want me to?
I already did it. Sorry.
Thank you.
I don't think of
Nothing.
any, we're still working on the CR with Highland Ridge and hoping to get that finished. They seem to be making progress on it, so we have allowed 10 more occupancy permits to be granted.
Did you hear our discussion with the cannabis folks about coming to you guys?
Yes, and I noted that down and I will pass that on to the rest of the commission.
So you could have your folks look for two things. That petition has to be filed by the middle of the month, next month,
Right.
in order to go on the September docket. So you should be receiving that material.
Okay, so we just had a meeting last week. Our next meeting is the 20th. So he should try to be at the meeting on the 20th then, right?
The 20th of what?
July. Oh, okay, no, he has until August. to
Right.
file. Okay.
But
So
he should,
he has 3 meetings then.
but he has to file his paperwork by, what did we say, the 17th of August?
Yes, August 17th.
Okay.
So by August 17th, we should
Okay,
have
so
new
we're
plans. and-
meeting August 3rd and 17th. So he has August 3rd and July 20th to meet with us to get the information he needs. Correct?
Yeah, it depends on when he files. He said they're a week, because he can file early.
Yeah.
So he said they were about a week out. So if they file and we've got all the documentation, I mean, Louise, I'll certainly let someone from conservation know that, well, and I always forward a copy to your board anyways.
Okay, so he can get the letter from conservation after the 17th.
After he files, right? So you have everything to review.
Yeah,
Okay.
he can get the letter from you folks anytime. But what you want is the most recent plan, and when he files for site plan, you should have a plan. And it needs to include water and sewer.
All right, let me write
Then
that
it's
down.
8:02 if you want to officially resume the meeting.
And John Campbell is not here, right?
Nope.
We
Do
don't have
a
a,
meeting ID.
So we can't.
Yes.
hold on one sec.
We can't open the hearing, but you can formally resume the meeting.
Susanna, did you want to give a meeting ID to Dennis?
Yep. 878-7328-2748.
Let me try that.
Sorry.
That's all right.
There's no code or anything, is there? Just an ID number?
Yeah, I think there's nothing else listed there.
We don't have a number or anything, do we, Leanne, for John Campbell?
I think, well, the petitioner was the Stephen.
Oh, yeah.
So I think we only have his number. The applicant was Stephen Pusateri, so I have his phone number and his email, but that's it. Oh, wait a minute. Oh, but this is the school. The one for John Campbell is the school phone number. So that's not gonna help.
No. Who's on the school committee these days?
I have no idea.
I'm
Julie
think-
Lee,
I'm sorry, Louise,
Julie Lee is on the school committee.
do we have a phone number for her? She may well have John's phone number.
Yeah, I don't think I have it.
I'm confused about I understand that, well, we can't discuss it till they come anyway. Never mind.
You understand what?
Well, I understand that the select board is giving their approval, but it's town property, so does the select board have to be the applicant now?
Interesting question. I would say that provided they have permission from the select board, although if you read the stuff from the select people, it was restricted, okay? And I wish we had someone from the planning board because the select board suggested they go to the planning board.
Yeah, there's no,
And
no one
well-
on from the planning board either.
in the, what I read from the select board in their minutes was, so long as they comply with the bylaw, okay? And, I took that to mean that they needed to not, they needed to comply with the bylaw. But if we get a hold of John, we'll do his take.
Dennis is back, is he, but he's not, is he using the phone or is he back using video?
I thought he was gonna try to call us.
The ID number would not work. I come on for a few minutes and then I'm gone.
Mm,
Okay, well, let's try to do this next hearing for BMS because we don't have a petitioner and I tend to think we know how this is gonna go. Okay, I'll open the hearing at 8:06, is it, or 8:07
807,
for the BMS sign. We have our folks back, I take it. We do
Yes.
not have a petitioner, right?
correct.
No.
In the past, what we have done is waited 15 minutes. And I think because this is a town entity, that we would be well to continue it to next month, but that will be up to you folks. Do you have any feeling about that?
They don't show up. They don't show any interest. The yeas have it or the nays have it.
we make a
Um,
motion that we close the hearing with, what is it, without prejudice so that they can reapply?
They have to do that, though, don't they?
No, we have a right to close it at any time, but historically, we have allowed one oops. And I'm just thinking that being that this is a town entity, that we continue it until next month. There's two things that can happen, obviously. John will be meeting with the planning board. He's already met with the select board. And we will have all of the information that we need, but again, it's not my decision. That's my suggestion.
he did meet with the planning board already. I don't know if he's planning to meet with them again.
I think he was after the select board's meeting. They suggested he go talk to them again. How do you feel about it, Jim?
Well, I'll go back to my original question here. As you mentioned, they're a town entity. So why are we having this hearing to begin with?
Because we were required to do so by a letter from the building commissioner. And the school's property does not include the location of where the sign is going to be. That is town land, not part of the school land, and under the jurisdiction of the select board. They have made recommendations, and they met with them, and I guess we'll continue the process. Although I think you're right, I think the select board initially, being their land, could have just decided what needed to go there. How do you feel, Keith?
I'll give them one. I feel like we just all sat here for an hour on their behalf. I don't want to do that again.
Pat?
I'm feeling abused.
Ginny?
She's muted.
It might be a
thing.
good thing I was muted. I am personally feeling abused. This board appears for the meetings, and we expect, I personally expect people to be prepared. And I feel this board gives everyone more than ample time.
And
And-
excuses.
We spend our evening here. And here we are again, sitting with no petitioner. And I'm mad. I would so much be doing something else than, I mean, it's always nice to see you all, but Lynn, where do you toughen up? I mean, it's always nice to be a nice guy, but when your board feels abused, I don't know if there's not something you can do. I know Leanne has enough to do. However, do these people need reminders that we're expecting them?
Ah,
Which is, I don't know, Lynn. It's a lot to ask for this board to keep being loyal and coming to the meetings. And the other boards, the petitioners, seem very nonchalant that, okay, nah, didn't get it done. Yep, see you next month. But we all just allowed 1 hour for the first petitioner. And, you know, it's easy to just sit at your chair, log on and say, not ready, see you next month. But thank you for listening. I have vented, I'm done. I'm not done, but I have said my piece.
Denny, do you have anything to add?
She couldn't have said it any better.
Thank you,
Well,
Jenny.
let me put it to you this way. It only takes 4 votes.
Well, okay, so how do we go about what? What are you putting to us?
Well, you can do one of two things. You can either vote to continue, or you can vote to close the hearing. I think you put yourself in a little bit of jeopardy closing the hearing, but
Wait, what kind of jeopardy?
Exactly.
well, we would, well, I don't know what a legal challenge, if there were a legal challenge, might be. And I don't know that it wouldn't ire some of the other folks, i.e. select board and planning board. But that is, I mean, I may conduct the band, but it's up to the band to make their decision what they want to do.
Yeah, but you're implying that if we make the wrong decision, there's gonna be repercussions.
Oh,
Well, they're always possible. In any
There are
instance.
also, yeah, but there's
Well-
repercussions that we're just, this is an hour and a half that were wasted tonight already so far.
I agree with you. One of the things I was gonna suggest is from now on, even for cannabis, I would allot half hours.
oh, second that.
And if it runs over, it's okay.
They can wait.
Let's say tonight we had cannabis and they came in and they were ready to go and we took an hour instead of the half an hour. Then we could have just wait, as long as we do it after the time of the next hearing.
Mhm.
You know, you can't, we can't start early, but we can start late.
Yes,
So I think that that will be the rule from now on, Leanne. We do half-hour increments, even if they're building the Taj Mahal.
So what's the
Yes.
third option? Say if we all abstained.
Well, then there's nothing. I mean, if you
All
all
right, so you either
abstain.
make a point or we let them get away with it again.
Well, I don't, the BMS hasn't given us a problem, have they?
they have not, Lynn, but sadly, we did not have a select board person here tonight. And I know at their last meeting, the sign was discussed for quite some time. And I think if a select board individual had been present tonight, we would have been given information of their decision or their feeling toward this sign. But we're left with nothing.
Did you get the letter from Margaret and the minutes of their meeting?
Yes.
I got the letter, yes.
Was
And
the impl-
Ginny, you might not have been on, but I did receive a text message from Chris Keith, who is the liaison from the select board to this board, that she was not feeling up to it after her.
We do have
recent
someone in the
surgery.
audience right now.
And so she apologized. It's just Louise Janda.
Yeah.
From
No, there
Con-
was just someone else there.
Okay. Well,
Oh.
Chris apologized for not being able to attend.
Oh,
Oh,
but
I
that's-
didn't
oh,
know
that's
that.
the 8:30 guy. So I have a question that I would like to put to the chair and the vice chair. We, at the last time we discussed the sign, there was issues on who the applicant should be. So would it be a good idea to close out this hearing and ask them to resubmit with all of the entities that need to be on this application rather than just the one?
The town administrator was on their application.
So was the, so even though the applicant was the facilities person, section 14 asks you to list any representatives, and the principal was listed. Dave Goulding under community service from the police department was listed. Fire
Hmm.
Chief Clark was listed, Fred Cummings from the Berlin Highway Department are all listed as under any applicant representatives who will be present or will prepare materials for the hearing.
But
So
in
they're all
addition,
on here.
in addition to that, Margaret signed the petition too.
Yes, Margaret signed where it states signature of property owner. So she signed for the town as the town administrator under property owner. But the
Okay.
actual applicant, the one who filled out the paperwork, was, is the facilities person for the school.
Okay,
Um,
well, that's not an
It,
issue.
it merely appears that we seem to be in a vortex here. Maybe I'm not following it, but we've gone to property owner, the ZBAs, the planning board. I guess I'm a little confused as to where this catch-22 circle catches up with itself.
Mm,
Am I making sense?
If
mhm.
they, if they were to start out again, it would be my feeling that this should rest in the hands of the board, the select board, and totally in their hands. But we had a letter from the building commissioner that said they needed to come to us for a variance and site plan approval. So we need to deal with that variance and site plan approval. Now, with input from the selectmen, I think we can deal with it, but again, it's up to you folks. If you want to say, you know, you failed to show up, you're gone. Refile, that's fine. I mean, that is your prerogative. I just think within a town, this is another flying in the face of another entity. And I think this is the first time this has happened with John. John was very nice when he was here before. I think it's wise, and again, we'll do the half-hour increments from now on. I understand your frustration because it's mine. When it comes to cannabis, I had written them a note the Friday before they had to get their papers in and said to them, just a friendly update, you need to have your papers in by next Wednesday. And then they ended up writing back saying that, or asking Leanne, right, Leanne, whether or not
Yeah.
they could just file the petition without any plans or anything.
Yeah, they wanted to file the paperwork and pay the fee, but not have all the documentation that was with it, so that they could secure a date and then turn in the rest of it when they got it, which was still a week out.
And I wrote back to them and basically said that there's a reason that we have deadlines and that the petition needs to be, quote, substantially complete. In other words, if they hadn't gotten time to go to the Conservation Commission before they filed it, the fact that they didn't include a letter from them would not prevent them from going forward. And I told them that we technically have to provide all of these copies to the other boards in advance of our meeting, so they have an opportunity to make comments. And it behooves us to have the plans available at the town hall if abutters or other residents want to go and see them. And Bellick wrote, the Wayne Bellick there, wrote back to me and said, yes, he understood, blah, 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 blah. But I don't know if other towns do things differently, but, you know, I think unless you guys feel differently, that, you know, I wasn't going to accept just those petitions. Where they just
Exactly, but
wanted-
that's, yeah, that's all part of the application process, so that they are supposed to read, correct?
I also gave him a link, which he had gotten before, which is to the ZBA website that lists, they have the things that have to be included.
Well,
The only
he's
thing I
coming
did,
back next time, right? Yeah.
I'm as disappointed as you are.
Off topic, but the motions that were approved at our last town meeting, do you know if they've been accepted by the state?
As far as I know, they haven't as yet.
Okay,
It can take a long time. They
Okay.
often go into the fall, and I think they're in recess right now, which is why I'm concerned about Zoom meetings. Okay, folks, it's 25 past. How do you want to dispose of this?
I mean, I'm willing to take your strong recommendation, but I doubt any of us will vote on this again, but we'll give them the benefit of the doubt this time, or I will. I'll vote. I move that we move it until next meeting.
date,
Second.
time and date.
August 10th, 7 PM.
What she said.
I'll second that.
May I just interrupt for a moment?
Okay, we have a
Well-
motion and a second. It's perfectly good time to interject.
Thank you. On August 10th, will this be allotted a half hour?
Yes,
Can we ever do 15 minutes?
actually,
John.
in one instance, I did when I knew the continuance was coming in advance.
I think we should do 15 minutes because they probably are going to continue it because they don't even know
Yeah.
what it's gonna look like yet.
The sign,
Yeah.
well,
Could we amend the motion? to
no, you
15
don't
minutes?
have, you don't have to amend
You
the
don't have
motion
to.
because we didn't have a completion time.
Oh, okay.
All it means is if we have to schedule something else, we'll schedule it for 7:15. Does anyone have anything else they'd like to say before I call for a roll?
Can't we schedule them last? So if they do not show up, it doesn't bump everybody
Well,
else
right
after them?
now, we don't have anything else for August.
Okay.
That's the hearing. Unless something
So-
comes tonight by
Well,
9 o'clock.
I'm sorry, where did we put the cannabis?
There's
They're
They're a
September.
month out.
They're going to September.
Oh, okay.
So
And
as of
unless
right-
something else comes in tonight?
Yeah, there's till 9 o'clock tonight, but I'm not anticipating anything like
No, because.
I
we'll be
usually
here.
have a heads up because of the building inspector's letters of, sending
Yep.
them. So there's nothing on the radar. I'm not expecting anything, but the deadline is 9 o'clock tonight.
And in the morning, I have to go in for post-op, but tomorrow I will try to reach John Campbell and chastise him severely and tell him he has one more shot at the apple.
We haven't voted yet.
You should wait until you have the link so you can send Ginny's monologue right to him.
Okay, we have a motion to the second on the floor. Is there any further discussion? Okay, if not, I'll go around. Keith,
Aye.
Ginny,
Aye.
Pat,
I'm gonna be a nay on this one.
okay, Danny,
Hi, if you can hear me.
we can. Jim,
Aye.
okay. We have a vote. So we'll do that for 7 o'clock. If
Yeah, what
anything
about
else.
What
Susanna?
about you?
Oh, I'm sorry. Susanna?
You know what? Just for that, I'm gonna abstain.
Fair enough. Okay. Um, so has 272 arrived?
He has, but it's only 8:29. We've got 1 minute. So wait, give me 1 second here and then I'll promote him. Okay.
Did everyone get the letter?
Yeah,
Associated
I
with-
did.
Yep.
Okay, Mr. Amarin has been promoted.
And he needs to unmute.
Unmute and start his video. And it is now 8:30.
Mr. Amarim,
Your microphone's,
Oh,
there it
there
is.
he is.
Hello, can you guys hear me?
yes,
Yes.
I believe
Yes.
that. Okay. All right, I'll open the continuation of the hearing for 272 West Street. Do you have anything to share with us, Mr. Amarin?
Yes, I do. I have the engineer letter that was requested last meeting. Also, I did some research about the bylaws, like back in the days, to kind of like try to prove that the house was built like, kind of on the previous legislation. But I discovered with the clerk that when my house was built, there was not even bylaws or zoning bylaws. So the lot's grandfathered, and you can check that with the town. But I do have like the letter that I forward to the ZBA. I hope you guys have it,
Yes,
and we can go from there, I guess.
yes. I appreciate your research, but to be quite honest, when you make changes, the changes are subject to the existing or current bylaws.
Yeah.
They don't, it doesn't go back and say, yeah, I could have put a garage in 1960.
No, I get it. I just was trying to find the one that says like it was 20 feet before, but I didn't find, so it's too far away.
Okay, thank you. All right, the floor is open. Does anyone have anything to say? Those that were looking for a letter, is this letter what you were looking for?
Yes, I do have something to say. Yes, the letter was very helpful. And I just want to clarify that he's actually in commercial zoning and it's residential use. That's correct?
Commercial village.
No,
Yeah.
commercial village.
Okay, and it's a residential use. And there, the building inspector pointed out that the setbacks are different in the two different categories. And had his property been in residential, this wouldn't be a variance because he would have fit within the residential setback. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay, so that changed a lot for me and the way I was thinking about this. So were we to make a motion to approve this, I would just want something that says that the property could not be used as commercial village with this variance granted. So that was all I had to say.
Anyone else have anything? Jim, how do you feel? You were rather adamant about getting this letter, so.
Well, I think it helps. I will admit that I'm a little disappointed that it doesn't mention anything about the feasibility of pushing the garage backwards towards the pool. I mean, it addresses the other points, but it doesn't address that one.
I thought it did, Jim,
Just to
because
clarify, he didn't mention that because over there it's already, stipulated by the people from the wetlands that if I'm moving over there, I'm gonna need to have like special permitting. So
Yeah, he's right. The Conservation Committee did recommend not going back. That I remember.
Well, there's the conservation or the wetlands border does run back there, but there is some room there. As I recall, it was 6 feet or so. But regardless, it's not addressed in the letter one way or another.
Anyone else?
I have I feel that this is not harmful in any way to an abutter or any wetlands. And I actually feel that this is the best situation for.
We do have 2 letters from abutters or neighborhood, let's say. Your neighbor next door sent a letter, correct?
yes, both of them, like Mrs. Sarah and Mr. Felipe. So both of the neighbors are okay with that. They do give me letters and everything.
He didn't hear from the package store, but they were notified and they didn't seem to have any response or interest.
I'm sorry?
The package store that's there.
The package store? So,
We haven't heard from them, which is up to them. They didn't respond or attend the meeting.
So you can only gather they're not opposed to it, I would assume.
I would think so.
Yeah.
Denny, do you have anything?
He's muted. Denny's having a rough night.
Yeah.
He has cable too, doesn't he?
I've been having problems with my internet too.
I did. I had trouble even opening the meeting tonight.
Yep.
And you both have cable?
Yep.
Yep, and I got booted
Wow.
off during our recess.
While we're waiting for Denny, even though I'm an alternate, I'm not sure I'm voting on this. I will say I feel like he's done everything that I was hoping for and has demonstrated that the neighbors, don't have issue with this. I feel like all the boxes are checked here personally.
Anyone else like to interject?
I'd like to thank him for showing up.
That was a joke.
And I'd like to thank him for all the following through with everything. It's very refreshing.
my pleasure.
And we appreciate that.
My pleasure. Especially now, I have one more little one coming in. So my
Oh,
wife is
congratu-
expecting.
congrat-
I just got the news last week. I was gonna send to you guys the video and everything. Say, guys, please approve this because I need my family's growing.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
Denny, I see you're unmuted. Did you have something you'd like to add?
No, I'm just getting ready for the vote.
Okay.
Okay, would someone like to entertain or to make a motion?
I would like to make the motion to approve the variance for 272 West Street. Is that enough?
Can you say something to the fact that it's to be for residential use?
Yes. And note that this is for residential use only.
Mr. Amarim, do you have any problem with that?
I do not.
I second it then.
Is there any further discussion?
2 items, Madam Chair. One, I'd like to make an amendment or to amend the motion to put the requester was to reduce the side yard, the distance to the property line to 25 foot 4 inches. So I think we need to specify in the motion exactly what we're giving them a variance to.
Agreed.
Personally, I think 25 foot 4 inches is a little too specific. I would go to 25 foot and just leave it at that. That gives them a little bit of wiggle room, a couple of inches here and there. I mean, if he's off by an inch, I don't want to have him tear down his entire garage just because his contractor poured it off by an inch or two.
Is this the new gym?
Um,
Where is this coming from? My
That's
goodness.
a good point, Jim. I really appreciate the help on that one. That's a very good point.
I suggest to you that we have to go by the plan that he submitted. And the plan is part of the petition. But we can write in there up to 25 feet if you want to do that.
Yeah. The other thing is,
The maker and the seconder of that motion, would you be willing to accept that as a friendly amendment? It just means we don't
my-
have to vote.
My only question is, we're dropping 4 inches. Is
No, you're
that relevant?
You're dropping 0.4 feet.
Oh, 0.4.
0.4 feet.
3 inches.
Yep.
I mean, is that going to be problematic?
Not according to the plan, right, Mr. Moran?
Well, I mean, the point that Jim made was a very good point, because of course, when you excavate, you might be like, like an inch or a little bit like off. But if you guys just give me what I request, I'll make sure that we have like exactly dimension.
Double measure, huh?
Measure twice, then you cut it. So
I'm fine with the amendment personally.
I'm also,
The other question I have is, can we legitimately restrict this to residential use only? It seems to me that putting that provision in there is effectively changing the zoning of the
the
lot.
zoning bylaw.
Well, the intention would be if the use changes, then, and I don't know if this can be done either, but if the use were to change, they would have to refile for a new variance. Is that?
So if that variance got disapproved, would they have to tear the garage down?
I think you have a point, Jim.
Yeah.
We can put anything we want into a motion. But I don't think that motion would have any teeth as far as limiting in the future what it could be used for. Now, I can put in the decision that the
Oh, COVID.
no, it's ENT. I can put in the decision that the owner states he only will, that the garage will be used for residential purposes only.
I do have a question. This is a 2-story structure, correct?
Yeah. Yes.
So I assume it's a 2-car garage,
Correct.
and over that, what are the plans?
The second story will be like a bedroom, 2 bedrooms.
Is this an in-law apartment?
No, that will be just attached to the house. In-law
But it's
apartments
2
in Berlin.
bedrooms.
Yes, in-law apartment in Berlin, it's only allowed for 799 square feet, I guess. So that's more than 800 square footage.
So you're not adding a kitchen or a bathroom. You're
I'm
just
not adding
two
like
bedrooms.
a I'm not adding like, in-law apartment. So I'm just adding to the house only.
Yep.
This will be part of his building permit, and that would be up to the building commissioner to determine what he can and cannot do.
All right, so just to clarify, so I heard it correctly. You're adding a 2-car garage
Yes.
and 2 bedrooms above it.
Yeah. And behind the garage will be a living room. It's like a first story, right? We got the 2-car garage, and behind the garage we have a living room. Then in between the garage and the living room, we have a stairs that goes up, and there will be access to the 2 bedrooms.
So you have, just to clarify, it's what was submitted in the drawings.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Yep.
What I'm saying is like everything already, like with the town, and that's what I submit to you guys.
That's what it's always been.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I understand the spirit of what you're saying, Sue, and respect the motives behind it. I'm with Jim. I'm not sure. I don't see how we can enforce it anyways. So if it overcomplicates it, then I'm okay with not requiring it to be residential. Personally, I'm okay with that.
So by thinking about this that just came up now, I think it would kind of like, I mean, of course I'm gonna use just for residential. That's my plan, I don't know what next year will be, or if I sell in the future. I think it's just gonna be kind of awkward to have something on paper that does not match what the zoning laws is, the bylaw is from the town. It might be just confused, like, the next person who's going to buy that property in the near future or something like that.
Yeah, which is the thinking behind my comment was actually for the next buyer coming in. If they wanted to come in and use this for a commercial village, and now it's got a building closer than.
Then he would need to apply for variance or something like that, if you want to use for different purpose, I guess.
Yes.
I just don't know if you can put in paper something that is against another bylaw that is already existing. So that's what I'm saying. So, but for me, either way works.
Well,
If someone came in
my concern was that if say the new owner does want to use it as commercial village, would the neighbors have been so supportive of this project? That's where my concern is. Not for what it is now, but and that was where I was coming from, is can we say something in the variance, because it is more to protect the neighbors if the use changes.
I understand what you're saying, but I think we can mention the fact that, he has said his only intent is residential. The problem, I don't think we can say in the future, but if a commercial use were to come in, they would have to come in for site plan approval.
Yeah.
So it would be at that time that someone could say, well, you can't use the garage portion because it does not meet the setback for commercial village.
That's a good point.
My feeling is that would be the time that you could. What do you feel about that, Jim?
That seems like a reasonable thing to do. I mean, I don't think we can put a limit on there that overrides the bylaw as far as what the uses can be and hinder a future ZBA sitting to prevent something from being done. Now, like I said, if a site plan comes in, 10 years from now and they want to hold it up, that's up to them.
All right. Yeah, that's true. I did forget that they have to come in for site plan approval. So that would take care of it. So then I'm okay leaving out my suggestion.
Okay, so what is the motion as it stands right now? Is
Good
it to
question.
approve the plan for 272 West Street? Or does it include residential use only?
Believe the plan is to approve the variance down to 25 feet with no other, with the other standard requirements, nothing about residential only.
Yeah, up to 25 feet. Does everyone agree that that's what the motion should say?
Yeah.
Anyone disagree? Okay, we have a motion to approve a side lot variance for up to 25 feet for 272 West Street. Any further comments? If not, I'll take a roll call vote. Susanna,
Aye.
Jim,
Aye.
Pat,
Aye.
Ginny,
Aye.
Dennis,
Aye.
Keith.
Aye.
Okay. Mr. Amarim, I want to thank you for your patience and for, I'm sure the board is appreciative of all of the documentation that you have supplied to us. We do appreciate it, and congratulations on the baby.
Excuse
Alright.
me.
Thank you very much, and I appreciate you guys. Thank you for being patient with me as well through the whole process. It's something very new for me, and thank you very much for the approval.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Let me just give you the rest of the process if you're not familiar with it.
Mhm.
You'll have to wait for me to write a decision. And again, I'm old and slow.
Take your time.
Well, there's only so much time. And then it goes to the town clerk. The town clerk stamps it on the date that she receives it. And there's a 20-day waiting period for someone to appeal. Because during that time, the decision is sent out to the abutters and posted. So that's how it goes. It doesn't mean you can't start doing something, but it does say you're in jeopardy if anyone complains.
Okay, that's all good.
Okay,
All right.
I'll
Thank you.
entertain a motion to close the hearing.
So moved.
Second.
That was Jim and Sue.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, there's motion and second to close the hearing. I'll take it that there's no further discussion. I'll do a roll call vote. Susanna,
Aye.
Jim,
Aye.
Pat,
Aye.
Jenny,
Aye.
Dennis,
Aye.
and Keith.
Aye.
Okay, we have a wrap on that one. Okay, I want to thank you guys for allowing BMS to meet next month. And unfortunately, that's the only thing that we have. So would you please let Leanne know if something happens and you're going to be unable to attend? Okay.
I will not be here. I'll be in Montana.
Yeah, you said that you're not going to be able to be here on the 10th,
Yeah.
which means Susanna, you're up.
I guess I'll be attending.
Don't sound so excited.
Yeah.
Okay, guys. Well, I appreciate your patience because you have been patient with this. Somehow, again, going to the half hour, I think will help. it's gonna delay some folks. Going to 15 minutes unless we have a reason to go to 15 minutes is probably a little tight, because if you have 3 hearings in one night and only 15 minutes for each, and they all end up happening, you could have one scheduled for 7:45 that doesn't happen till 9. And it may or may not be considered an unreasonable delay.
Well,
I'll let-
Lynn, if I could say, almost treat it as a triage. As far as what time you think. I'm not at all opposed to the 15 minutes. Just saying. Again, my 2 cents worth.
Well, my feeling is just like tonight, if we start a hearing at 7 o'clock when our meeting starts, if one of the parties that has a half hour ends up being 15 minutes, we can usually fill that 15 minutes with minutes and so forth, okay?
Exactly. Yeah.
So I think half an hour is probably reasonable, but we'll find out.
Yep. Okay. We'll test it.
And I want to thank Louise for attending tonight.
Oh, you're welcome.
It's always helpful to us to hear from the other boards. Okay, folks, we're adjourned.
We don't have a motion or a vote to adjourn.
Oh, we don't?
No.
I'll make a motion that we adjourn.
Oh, everybody wants to do it.
Okay, so
Jim
So
and
it's-
Jim gets a second.
Jim and Ginny are fighting for it, okay. I take it there'll be no discussion. We'll do a vote again. Susanna,
Aye.
Jim,
Aye.
Pat,
Aye.
Jenny,
Aye.
Keith,
Aye.
and Dennis.
Dennis is muted.
Oh, poor Dennis. I know
Um,
he's an aye.
There
Poor
he is.
Dennis is just glad it's over.